Nyambega Gisesa, the MCA for Rigoma Ward, and the majority leader for the NYAMIRA County Assembly. Earlier today, there was a judgment which was given by Justice Ngangar, by Justice Julius Ngangar at the High Court in BOMET, and we've been dismayed by how that judgment, by the kind of judgment which the judge gave. On the first issue, number one, we have other active cases which are ongoing in court. The judge did not consider the merits or the issues of those other cases. Number two, and most importantly, the judge dealt on the issue of impeachment, which was not part of any of the requests by the people who went to court. In those petitions which were presented in court today, which will share the proceedings with you, number one, there was a petition which was filed by one Kefa Mwenga touching on the CFSP, the kind of prayers he wanted. None of his prayers dealt with the issue of impeachment. Number two, there was the issue by Edwin Ochoko, which was touching on the issue of the election of the Honorable Thaddeus Nyabaro, the MCA for OKERO, as the Speaker of County Assembly. The judge did not go straight in those issues. He skipped it, and they made a very outrageous statement that the only thing which is waiting is gazettement. Number three, there was also a petition by the County Assembly of NYAMIRA. All the three petitions, none of them spoke or touched on the first substantial issue on which the judge reduced his judgment into. Number two, the statement that came out from court is a statement that has been coming out from a lot of political leaders. And looking from the judgment, it was a considered view that as early as from last week on Thursday, some of the parties to that issue had started celebrating, probably knowing that they are aware of whatever outcome was supposed to come, which we believe was political than anything else. And number three, the judge consolidated independent matters into one judgment, which was contradictory, because the matters that are there in Kisumu, the matters which are there in NYAMIRA, the matters are in the High Court in Kisii, these are issues which are very, very different. And in each of the matter, there's a distinct or there's a specific prayer which is made by those parties. And then number four, it's still our view and our considered view that the High Court in NYAMIRA, they gave an order protecting the interest of OKERO as the legitimate speaker of the County Assembly of NYAMIRA. And those orders have not been vacated by any court. Actually, in the contempt of court ruling, the justice said that when she gave the order against suspension, she gave an order stopping any other action, including removal from office by way of impeachment. That issue was not conclusively, or it was not, the judge decided to avoid that issue. And then number five, on the issue of the clerk, we have an active court-in case, and that court-in case recognizes Silvanus Nyamora as the acting clerk of the NYAMIRA County Assembly. That the prayers which said that the CFSP should be handed to a particular individual were nowhere in any of the applications which were made in court. As we consider our next point of action, is our considered view that this judgment, number one, is biased, was full of political biasness, and number three, that the judge consolidated even issues that were not under his court. Thank you. And then most importantly, away from the misreporting which you've seen in media, the judge did not declare anyone as the elected speaker of the NYAMIRA County Assembly. If you read for your judgment, if you read the judgment yourself, actually if you read the judgment yourself and the judge says that the judge did not declare, it says that it has no jurisdiction to declare who is the speaker of the County Assembly of NYAMIRA. It's our considered view that under the orders we have, that one OKERO is still the Speaker of the County Assembly of NYAMIRA until he is properly removed from office and another individual elected as Speaker. And that one has not happened. It was not near anywhere in the judgment which was issued today that any individual has been declared as the Speaker of the County Assembly of NYAMIRA. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Joel Umbongi Nyangao, MCA Bokera Ward, and the 22 of us today, members of the County Assembly, who have been legally following the law, because we had a Speaker and we still have a Speaker, OKERO, who is legally in office because the orders of E008, a petition that is still active in court, has not been vacated and has not been determined. But today, we have really seen a miscarriage of justice, that our courts can rule on without it being considered. Because if you look at all these new cases that were in BOMET, they came after E008, which the judge intentionally decided to ignore. And we want to call upon the Chief Justice, Martha Koome, that the judicial system is now becoming a play ball that everyone can interfere with. If a whole judge can take the words of a politician, the Senator Okongo Mogeni, and convert it into a judgment, then where are we headed as a nation in terms of justice? It is only the courts that we run to when everyone else is saying that we are wrong. And in our view, the judgment in BOMET is raw and somehow not considering all the factors that ought to be considered. So we want to call upon the Chief Justice to look at this matter keenly. We are filing, the 22 of us, a petition to the JSC because we don't have confidence in the judge at the BOMET High Court. Because if you have other cases that are pending, Kisumu, there is a case that was transferred from NYAMIRA. It is not yet determined, and it is the mother case. Then today, you rule even a matter that is not within your jurisdiction. The impeachment case was filed in Kisumu. It has not been concluded. But today, you want to declare that someone was impeached. The same statement that a politician is giving in Senate and in funerals and in any other social functions. So we are deeply disappointed, and we are also planning to take our next course of action, because if the 22 of us still believe that we have a Speaker, then nobody should tell us that they have another Speaker elsewhere. So we want to record our disgruntlement and say that our judicial system is getting porous and being interfered with politically. Thank you.
Regarding this issue, are you planning on perhaps filing an appeal, or what is your next course of action regarding the issue?
Yeah, on this matter, because of our dissatisfaction, of course, we will take another step. I may not really give much details, but provided the system is running the way it is, I really call upon sanity in the system first, that our Chief Justice addresses this matter with a lot of keenness. Because if you can give, perhaps, let me say that the indecisiveness of the judge and the matter being predetermined before, if people could be celebrating 2 weeks before this judgment, then what does it show us? That our judicial systems have become porous, and it confirms that perhaps the cup of tea that was alleged to be shared by the senator and the judge now becomes true in any way. Because if the judge and the senator are speaking the same language, it means they met before this judgment.
My name is Abel Mukaya Mose, MCA Mawawa Ward, and a valid, legitimate Deputy Speaker, NYAMIRA County Assembly. To our dismay this morning, the ruling that was made was contrary to the provision of the Constitution, whereby an MCA cannot become a Speaker if had not resigned prior. And when you just go back to what happened in the Senate, Honorable Nyabaro declared openly that had not resigned when that question was raised before the Senate floor. And therefore, Nyabaro being declared by the court as the speaker duly elected is contrary to the provision of our standing order and the constitution. And therefore, we cannot allow that the courts can make consolidated judgments of what matters that are active in other courts. As it stands, with our honorable members, 22 of us, we are aggrieved with the judgment that was issued today at the BOMET court. I can say purely it's biasness with the predetermined decision because of maybe the influence of a cup of tea. We need justice to be done, and we have to look at the higher officers, authority, the Judicial Service Commission, at least to give us a fair hearing and a fair judgment. Because since we have other cases here pending for hearing and active, like now we have the impeachment case of our Honorable Speaker OKERO in Kisumu, which is pending for hearing and determination. The courts at BOMET cannot bring the matters active from Kisumu to make the ruling and the judgment. But however, the judge did not make a ruling that Nyabaro should be the speaker. He said it's upon the decision of the assembly. And this is our decision as the assembly and as the majority. Out of the 33 members, 22 of us, we have declared that OKERO is a valid and a duly elected speaker of the NYAMIRA County Assembly.